So if you're unhappy with a commercial corporation doing it, you should be actually very unhappy with the government doing it, since it is simply a corporation, the most corporate thing. You can actually easily get more sway in a company than you can, the outcome of a company, than you can in the government. Everyone's experienced this going to the DMV. Have you said, like, do you want the DMV at scale? Probably not, okay?
All right,
the government is the DMV at scale.
Let's try another one. Discrimination on the basis of anything other than merit is wrong.
Yeah, I think we do need to have a merit-based system, because as soon as you go down the path of you're going to discriminate on non-merit-based, then where do you stop? So yeah, I think we need to be as rigorous about merit as possible. And while it is, to me that seems like it's a foundational thing. So again, I also think this room is probably supportive of a merit-based situation. But yeah, that is, I think we should be, not discriminate on anything other than merit.
All right, good. I'm happy you agree with yourself.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. I'm like, wait, who is this guy? He really sounds great.
All right, so let's look at the next one. Regulation and regulatory consistency. Like Gulliver, tied down by thousands of little strings, we lose our freedom one regulation at a time.
Yes. So this is actually a very important point that I think is not talked about enough. That laws and regulations are immortal. They don't die. Humans die, but laws and regulations can last forever. So if year after year there are more laws and regulations passed and more regulatory bodies created, eventually everything will be illegal. And that's why you see the California high-speed rail has made a tiny section that doesn't even have rail on it, for, I don't know, several $1 billion. Because everything's, at this point, California has made almost everything illegal. So you can't make progress. Now, historically, what has cleared away the cobwebs of regulation has been war. Now, we'd prefer not to have a war. So in order to have civilization function without war, you have to actively eliminate laws and regulations. So you have to have basically a garbage collection process for rules and regulations. That is necessary, otherwise you get hardening of the arteries, and over time nothing can get done. The most poignant example that I can think of that happened this week was the sad picture of the California high-speed rail, which is, it's just billions of dollars spent for practically nothing. But it'll only get worse year after year. So we must have a regulatory sort of clearinghouse, garbage collection process. This is essential, or civilization comes grinding to a halt.
Well, we used to have sunset, that regulation would sunset. Unfortunately, it's rare today.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about education. The more you can gamify the process of learning, the better. You do not need to tell your kid to play video games.
No.
They will play video games on autopilot all day. So if you make it interactive and engaging, then you can make education far more compelling and far easier to do.
Yeah. So the way education works today is really much like it's like vaudeville You know, before there was radio and TV and movies, you had vaudeville, where every town would have their town play, the town troupe, this sort of acting troupe, and that would be kind of that would be the entertainment. So, you know, in a big city, you'd have you know, much better players than, say, in a small city. But then along came movies and TV and then you say, like, and video games, where you take the smartest, best people in any arena, like whether they're acting, writing, directing, special effects. You spend you know, tens of millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars creating a great movie or a great video game, and you make it as compelling as possible. Now that crushes vaudeville, crushes. Like, imagine you're not in New York, imagine you're in Bakersfield, okay? Then you got, instead of Batman being like, you know, the Nolan brothers, it's Batman, the Bakersfield sort of acting troupe. It wouldn't be as good. That's how teaching works today. So what you actually want to have is an interactive learning experience that is as compelling as possible, and you do not want it you do not actually want a teacher in front of a board doing a vaudeville act. You want it to be engaged, real-time feedback. So that's, and then there are a few other principles in teaching. You have to establish relevance, otherwise your mind will want to forget things. So our mind is constantly trying to forget as much as possible. So you'll only remember things if your mind can establish relevance, or there's a strong emotional element to it. Otherwise, you're basically going to forget everything. Memory is very expensive from an evolutionary standpoint, so it's trying to forget as much as possible. So when teaching a course, you have to explain to kids why it's important. And then you want to teach to the problem instead of teaching the tools. So what I mean by that is, if you said, here's a car engine, we're going to try to understand how this car engine works. We're going to take it apart. So what do we need to do to take it apart? Well, we need a wrench, we need some screwdrivers, we need a hoist and a pulley, and we're going to take it apart and we're going to see how it all works. That's engaging. And along the way, you learn about wrenches and screwdrivers and, you know, all the tools that are needed. That actually is engaging and compelling. But the way teaching more typically works is, we're going to teach you a course on screwdrivers and a course on wrenches. And you're like, why do I have a course on wrenches? It's not obvious. That would be like, say, a course on calculus without explaining what calculus is used for. Then you sort of forget it. Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of work to do in that area. Let's talk about a non-controversial issue, immigration.
Sure.
Right? Here is Elon on immigration. I'm very much in favor of